Welcome home, darling. Long day at the precinct. You've had me waiting up all night for you. I'm afraid your dinner will be stone cold by now. What a shame. Keep those big, strong hands where I can see them, please. Let's keep this nice and easy, okay? No reason for me to hurt you, unless you're into that. Okay, calm down. We can talk yeses and nos later. The gun is probably a bit too extreme for playtime anyway. For now, do me a favor, will you? Put your gun on the floor, really slowly, and kick it over to me. Your phone, too. Okay, that's a little too slow. Chop chop. Time is money, detective. Why, thank you. I'll put these in my purse for safekeeping. Don't worry. I promise I'll give them back. Don't you just hate losing your phone? What a nightmare. Anyway, you look tense. Just standing there, frowning and seething. Why don't you take a seat? You're making me awfully nervous. Oh, but first, would you please refresh my drink? I took the liberty of opening some of your expensive stuff. You don't mind, do you? Thank you very much. It's delicious, by the way. You're going to love it. Now please, sit. I have to say, detective, it really is lovely to see you again. How long has it been? 6 months? A year? Too long, anyway. You've been looking for me. Oh, how sweet. I never took you for such a romantic. A warrant? Well, that's hardly a way to get a lady's attention. Next time, try a dinner invitation. Ooh, or a movie. I love movies. Yes, I'm getting to that. Questions. Relax. I'm your guest. It's very rude to jump straight into business without small talk. Okay, fine. I'll tell you why I'm here. Boring, so boring. First, though, I hate guns. You know that. So I'm gonna put mine away. But you have to promise me you won't do anything rash. I'm here with a proposition that will work for both of us. So try not to be too much of a cop for the next 20 minutes, okay? Okay, away with the gun. Fun fact, it's not loaded. But I bet yours is, so be careful. So, business. You know what my business is, don't you? My business is keeping an ear to the ground, always knowing when some particularly extravagant idol comes into town, who owns it, and where they keep it. And of course, in learning these things, I also come to learn other things. Who the city's biggest players are, who they're warring with, what they're after. I'm always the first to know when someone new arrives on the scene. And I'm also the first to know when somebody drops off of it. And there's been quite a few somebodies dropping off the scene lately, haven't there? Mob boys mostly, but some unfortunate civilians as well. Always the same, small caliber, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. No trace, no witnesses. No living ones, anyway. Now, I figure you and your boys in blue can't give half a fuck about some dead mobsters. But those poor witnesses, that's a problem, isn't it? A big enough problem that someone would have to take the case. And it would be a very dangerous case, wouldn't it? Whoever worked it would probably end up dead themselves. So who better to work it than the pariah? The great white knight? The detective with more enemies on the force than on the street? How am I doing so far? You know, for the hard case gumshoe type, you're pretty easy to read. Well, I come with good news, hero. I know exactly the trigger man you're looking for. I know where he'll hit next, and I'll give him to you. Free of charge. Happy birthday, darling. What's with the cocked eyebrow? There's no catch, no fine print. I give you the name, you lock him up. Really, darling, is it so hard to believe that I would do something nice for you? After all the fun we've had with the cat and mouse over the years, I feel like I owe you. Consider it a, anniversary gift. I was afraid you would say that. If you arrest me, well, I won't tell you anything, will I? I'll suddenly forget all the things that I know. Your hitman runs free. And how would that look? I can see the headlines. Detective lets serial murderer escape to capture... who? An art thief? Not smart, detective. Bad optics. Nobody cares about me. All I've ever done is, let's call it, reappropriation of certain pretty things. I've never hurt anyone. That doesn't count. Nothing would have happened to those guards if they've gone on their normal patrols like they were supposed to. The museum should have fired them a long time ago. Anyway, you have a choice. You have a chance to stop a murderer. I think we know which choice you'll make. So, let me go. Take the killer down. What do you say, darling? Do we have a deal? Excellent. Would it surprise you to know that I trust you, detective? More than just about anyone. Yes, it's true. You're a stooge and a square and a head case, but you're not a liar. I like that about you. Anyway, let's work through this case, shall we? So, you've seen the autopsies. You've seen the ballistics. What did you learn? Same caliber every time. 22, wasn't it? Or was it? What if I told you that the gun wasn't a 22? That it was in fact a 38 special? Yes, lots of implications, right? It would mean that the ballistics report was altered, wouldn't it? And who would have access to those? Someone who owns a 38 special revolver, which is just like the sidearm the department issued you, isn't it? Yes. I think you see where I'm going with this. Are you familiar with a detective by the name of Julian Martin? I can see you aren't a fan. Well, he's your man. A 10-year veteran of the force, and a gun for hire. Who would suspect him? Well, who besides me, of course. So, there you go. Have at him. What? What's the problem? Still looking for a gift horse in the mouth, detective? Well, fine. I admit it. I may have an ulterior motive. What's wrong with that? Have you heard about the big art auction next week? Of course you haven't. It's not exactly open to the public. A strictly high rollers only, under-the-table affair. Millions of dollars changing hands, billions, and some very interesting pieces. Like, for instance, a beautiful Cezanne which mysteriously vanished the other night. Yes, a very significant windfall for a certain highly skilled and gorgeous art thief. But it seems that the painting's former owner is rather upset. Understandable, I guess. It is a very, very expensive painting. He'll do anything to get it back, and he has a great number of resources at his disposal. He is, after all, the district attorney. Shocked, detective? I'm surprised. I would think you'd be used to dealing with corruption by now. Anyway, your dear DA wants his painting back, and he sent Detective Martin to retrieve it, by any means. So, I have a fairly urgent personal investment in seeing them both brought to justice. So, that's the situation, darling. The rest is up to you. Take them down, please. I would consider it a favor, and I love repaying favors. Why are you making this so difficult? I just handed you gold, and you're still talking about arresting me? Just, you don't want to do that, okay? You don't need. It's not, I'm done. All right, for good this time. I've got a buyer lined up for this painting already, and once I sell it, I'm gone. Forever. This painting, this is never steal again money. Start a new life money. So that's what I'm doing. Starting over, and this might be my only chance to do it, and I'm taking it. You don't believe me? None taken. Might I ask why you doubt me? Really, detective, you know me? Come over here. Look out the window with me. That way. Not too far. 10 blocks down 38th, right on Park, half a mile past the warehouse district. Tenement row. Arbor Heights Apartments. I was born there. Yes, in the building. No way Mother could afford a hospital. And she had a thing about doctors. Never met my dad. Never even knew who he was, really. Mother told me he died, but honestly, I don't think she was sure either. Either way, she wasn't far behind him. Years of drinking and drugging and hate. I don't know how many years. I don't even know how old she was. Miss her. No. Not a bit. Useless little tramp. Those were her last words to me. I was 7 years old. I didn't even know what they meant. Anyway, after that, I was on my own. No family, no friends. Just a little girl. And this town had no pity for little girls. So, I chose not to be one. Instead, I chose to be many things. Whatever I needed to be to make it to the next day. I've been a lot of different people. Again with the look of surprise. Think about this, detective. Do you really think you know my name? My real one? Would you believe it if I told you? That's what I thought. So, how could you possibly know me? I don't even know me. I've been a beggar, a dealer, a fixer, a sophisticate, an art thief, but I've never been me. But now, with this, I have a chance to fix that. To finally be human, an actual person. Someone with a home and a heart and a future. I can start over. I can be honest, real. And you can help me. You have to help me. Oh, I need to repay my debt to society first? And what does society owe me, huh? How much of my blood would those streets soak up before they give something back? No, I'm leaving, detective. I have to. I'm leaving, and you're coming with me. Shh. Yes, you are. Think about it, detective. Really think. You're good. Do you know that? A good person, truly. That might sound strange coming from me, but I mean it. You care and you fight for people, and I admire you for that. I think there are a lot of little girls in the city who would have ended up like me, if not for you. And that's worth cherishing. But what's the cost? How much have you bled for the city? How many times have you put your life on the line? And what has your reward been? A tiny apartment, a patchwork of scars, an army of thugs and cops and politicians who all want you dead? You've spent your whole life trying to right the evils of this town, but have you ever thought that maybe it doesn't deserve you? That you're too good for it? You'll take these creeps down, but more will rise in their place. It just keeps happening over and over again. This city, No matter how hard you fight for it, it will never love you back. But what if there was someone who would love you back? Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about. Are you sure about that, darling? Chasing me around all these years, all my stints as your confidential informant. All those times you let me get away and work so hard to pretend you didn't. Was I misinterpreting? I didn't think so. And that's okay, you know? There's nothing wrong with wanting someone. Wanting someone. Even if she's maybe not the meet the parents type. Think about it. I can finally be me. And you can be you. And we can be us. This is your chance, darling. All you have to do is lean forward and take it.